Peace, love, and light, beloved. So, oh my goodness. So today is the day. Whew. I have had so many downloads and so much happen. I have so many things to tell you guys from Learn Teach as a chosen. I have a realization, more of like a realization, and now a question to you. What do you guys think? Because everybody has their own perception and also belief system, which that's what we don't want, false belief systems, right? That's what we're here to tear down, false belief systems. So these past few days, this past week, I'm sorry about that video if you guys thought I was so tired. I did get one on Facebook for the new moon manifestation, and I was just like passing out because I'll share with you guys a little later, maybe in another video that's like a whole nother story about what type of programming I had as MK Ultra, what I know about the original blood, the DNA of the human, as original as they could keep it from a certain state of existence. And now, as we come into transhumanism, there is so much happening. So, so I was dealing with, so because of that programming, I have bad moments. So the biggest thing about somebody putting you in a theta, beta state, programming you at a young age, breaking your psyche at a very young age, handling you at a young age, just programming you, period. One thing about that is now once you start to escape what you can remember, anything traumatic that you did not bury, okay, and if you were conscious like me, you kind of got to the point where, like, in my 20s, I started to get in with the war on drugs. Like, the biggest thing was opiates. So, and they were giving people like antipsychotics. Now remember, I went through institution. My program, even familial with the M's that I had, they were also programmed chemically. The big thing here to keep everybody, and there's no difference, it's just like alcohol now and this chemical pot or like vapes. I don't know what the fuck. And the air, god dang. Like, we got to talk about that too. So, yeah, so I was alchemizing like a bunch of people and having to guide my children. See, the thing about the children is it's funny because we thought we had to protect them from a, what do you call that? A physical harm. Well, we do. Their minds were being attacked. Our homes were being torn down. Like, whatever generation you were. It's just like, history repeats itself until now. Okay? So that's like another message I'm here to tell you. All that shit, the reason I tell you guys about all this is because we are and another chosen gave me this download. That's what I was waiting for. As a manifesting generator, we get anxious because we want to generate what we manifest, but we're not done yet. Spirit's like, nope, you got one more thing, you got one more thing. And the thing that she said today finally made me ready. Like, I even went out in the water and Spirit made the sun go away right when I had a chance to make the video, because it wasn't time. It wasn't about the sun. It wasn't about people being happy. It was about giving people like the real deal about us. And I think people are looking for answers, like, who are the chosen? What are the chosen? See, that's funny, because I've listened to the bullshit on YouTube, like, chosen this, chosen that. Okay, they got no clue. If they're comparing us to like a celebrity, and we think that we're not here to like get rid of celebrity worship syndrome as well, like, that's one of the books we're gonna write. I told Love Naya that. I gotta put one of her videos too. She was a huge part of my download. She is I love what she exposes. So basically, check this out. She exposes the inverts, like hermaphrodites, like celebrity worship and things of that nature. And it's very interesting. And if you're chosen, you'll realize that she is also, like, if you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, you will. And it was just kind of like, remember, it's not the words, it's the light code in between. And it was just like, ah. So the question that she really made, and she even went on, she got gang stalked, and she had to do an OnlyFans, not for anything like provocative or anything, but to show people what a real woman looks like a real, that's a whole nother story. So like, check her out. That's like one of her things. That's her biggest thing that she does, and she's dedicated, dude. She's so dedicated. And I want to say this, speaking of her and all the other chosen, don't worry about the currency. We're about to be rich. Like, you guys know I keep saying this, but I feel it. Rich enough to be able to heal the rest of ourselves in solitude, learn the things we never had our ancestors, because I had a terrible programming. I mean, my mother was my handler in many aspects, like, you know. So we didn't learn how to fish, or like me learning a boat, that was my twin flame, hunt, camp, same thing. Like, I wouldn't hunt an animal, but that made me remember that my mother's biological father would make me go fishing and hunting, and I would have to skin rabbits and shit. Like, yeah. What you block out with trauma is crazy. So, for somebody who has, now you can be MK Ultra and you don't even know. There's thousands of accounts of people under hypnotism, like check out the Real Manchurian Candidate and shit. And they tell you that these are programs. These are government programs. Like, you know what they did with the LSD, and come on. And like, you know what World War I and II and all the wars were about. So I guess I would be called something like a sleeper suicide agent. With mine wasn't so much sex kitten on a large level, but mine went through the church. And also, I don't know what kind of sick, twisted shit like those M's had going on. Like, they were so abused by that time. They were just doing drugs and abusing more children, and it was just all strange, like the strangest thing. So anyway, I was triggered the whole time. So what I realized was, instead of just being triggered and hiding, because you can't hide anything right now with this new moon, especially, I want to consciously manifest this this controlled anger, how to not control it, but use it in a stern manner to get your light code across. Being honest with my children, like being open and honest with them. Before, it was just like, no, it was this, it was this, it was this. When I went through like the whole conspiracy theorist age, like a few years ago, and it was like, it was like, no, like, instead of explaining to them and just seeing what they do. Well, now what they do is they care what I feel and think. It's the coolest thing. Like, I was teasing about Love Naya, did a video on Sexy Red, a few actually, and talking about what that thing is or whatever. And my daughter wanted Hamilton tickets, and I'm so happy, because that's a chance for me to explain, what and Love Naya said, actually, I think she said it today about like the Revolutionary War. We're definitely on the same frequency. So the girls had me watch Hamilton, and mostly my Sagittarius. So I said to her in the message, I said, listen, I'll buy you that's something I would spend money on so she could experience. I would rather her that than the frequency of the music. It doesn't matter what type. It's all awful. And if you know the history of music, once they switched the frequency, they had their agents like Neil Young talk about it, and Frank Zappa and all of them. They talk about it. You gotta catch it. Prince was exposing it, like whether he was an agent or not, doesn't matter. they tell you, you got to, it's between the lines. Like, that's where the discernment comes in, you know. They wanted us stuck up on the conspiracy theory rather than having the discernment. And that's another thing, chosen. You're going to be attacked. Like, it's, you know, it's going to happen until we gather. You know, I had another chosen. There were actually 3 of us last night hanging out. And he was like, when am I going to get a break? Now, all this year, he's a Sag like me. He's been healing. You're just my reflection, right? It's our simulation. And I said, brother, I said, it's coming. I said, let me ask you a question. I said, what's worse? Somebody that's on the path or somebody that knows their path, there's a path, but decides that they don't want to take the path anyway? He's like, someone that stays on the path. Yes, because they're wise. That's ego. He got it right away in an analogy. And he was like, I see what you're saying. It's like, yes, the fact that you are releasing and you are crying and you are with your friends and you are being real about the things that you, and I had to explain, teach him about quantum jumping. And, you know, it was very cool. But my Scorpio, he is a divine masculine. He is going through it. They're so good at hiding things, like how they truly feel. They could be losing their mind and on the outside look cool as like the backside of a pillow, for real. Like, So yeah, so he's been learning not to absorb, and he's enjoying me more. Chosen, especially Blu-rays. We are not, we may never, we have to find a way to cope. In my situation, my nervous system, I may never truly, fully, 100%. I mean, I have even done ayahuasca. Like, you guys know, come on. Like, I've gone, you guys know what I've put my mind to the test through. So, there's this thing, and let me tell you what makes me think that I may never fully recover, but that's because I'm supposed to be a walking testimony. I'm supposed to be able to not just share with you on YouTube, but write a book one day and give you my method, not Dr. Sabi's method, which I will use our elders, of course. But see, the thing about the chosen is we're so authentic. We bring our own thing. We each have a job, but kind of like the same mission, if that makes sense. Like, we're here to wake up consciousness, help people think again. That's why we share all this knowledge with you about the government. Like, it's not like we're like anti this and anti that. We are anti enslavement of the mind and body, both. So you see somebody talking about enslavement, trafficking, freeing the mind, like, yeah, those people are trying. So, like I told, you know, my chosen friend, I said to him, I said, like, so I was saying, you're better off on some path than none. You're trying. I remember when I was coming back into the vegan alkaline lifestyle, and I was just like tired of being like heartbroken, and I had to come into union with myself. It was just like my dark night of the soul with my twin flame. And I remember listening to Yaki, and Yaki was like, and you know how like football can be explained and shit. Welding can be explained, but until I learned how to weld, I only knew the concept. So I only knew the concept last year. So Yaki, he was like, I used to use cocaine. But I got frustrated. Like, when am I going to heal faster? Because you hit a point where you just kind of like, you're like stagnant a little. And then he's like, and because you wanted to go faster. Well, here's the realistic aspect. If you abuse your body And especially if they started you young on a chemical like Ritalin or something of that nature, or a antipsychotic. It seems they're starting them younger and younger, and then they're trying to give them HPV vaccinations, like heavy mercury and all that. And we know about like the autism or the neurodivergence, whatever you want. I don't like labels, but it is what it is. Like, I'm just like, if we, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, like just saying, like, we know about it now. Like, we are more privy to it. Like, people are, aware of it. And the children, like, what they're trying to do with them is just, with those, but if they got you, okay, I know what I was going to say. Oh my God, I can't believe I get off topic like that. That's how it's been, dude. Like, in and out. I feel like I'm here and I'm not here. So be in the world, but not of it. So, if they put you on starting at a young age, then like it's gonna be that's years of abuse on your body, nervous system. And what I like about Yaki is, maybe I'll try to share one of his videos too, is he explains to you not what some call woo woo, because we don't even have a spiritual community chosen. We're finding each other like diamonds in the rough. Thank you, God. That's what my manifestation, my new moon manifestation was all about yesterday. It was all about, I did one on Facebook. I should have done one here. I just wasn't in the right shape, and you guys got mine already. You know how to do it. Like, you can reference one of my videos, but what I asked for was I said, please, I asked, whoever I asked to, whether you call it self, God, creator, whatever you pray to, higher self, guardians, like angels, like whatever, ancestors, whatever works for you, right? Well, I call on everything that I can. Everything that's me, I bring it back. I call it back into my energy field. And if you haven't referenced that video, check out my 5 ways of cleansing the auric field, or your space. We don't want to use, I'm trying to like accommodate, because that's another thing the chosen are here to do. Etymology. That's why we teach you about etymology. That's why it's coming up. Because spells are spelling a word, and I noticed that this week with this, 4th of July, I don't celebrate holidays, birthdays, nothing. It's silly. Once you know what it really is, you just don't. So we still did our thing, and we live in Niagara Falls, so it's cool to go by the falls and watch the fireworks. Well, they've gentrified and like I don't get out there much. I'm not a consumer, so I don't have any reason to, and especially this time of year, but no parking, whatever. People were angry, trying to get in fights. It was fun to use my controlled anger, whatever, and observe it while it was happening, like making people upset. But it's not wise, because people are losing their shit right now. And after that, I was kind of like just in shock for a few days. And I saw a person run a light and almost hit a baby in a baby carriage. For fucking fireworks, for 10-minute fireworks, dude. Come on, for real? Yeah. My head hurt so bad, worse than doing my Kachari Mudra, like when I started that. It hurt so bad from what I call as neurodivergence within myself with my nervous system. But there's going to be nowhere to hide. Like, there really isn't. That was a practice and a test. And I'm finding my own way, my own natural ways to deal with this. And that's another thing. Stop letting people try to label you, Blu-rays. Like, chances are you had a traumatic time. If you got to take some motherfucking something to calm you down, I suggest like blue lotus resin, marijuana, like psilocybin, like, microdosing can heal, what they call depression and anxiety and stuff. Like, come on. I have one bad day out of the month, and like this morning I woke up crying, but my twin flame's like, why? And it's just like, I don't know. Like, because I truly don't know. There's gaps in your history when they give you electric shock therapy. That's like the whole point. It's, you can only feel your legs hurting. And then I'm so conscious that as soon as my legs start hurting, I'm like, there's a memory I can't touch right now. And then I get frustrated, you know? And how do you, it's just, and I tell them like, same thing over and over. Because remember, I was supposed to be like, I was supposed to commit suicide by now. And I've just decided to, but, to go consciously crazy like the Bakti. That's why I say Bakti all the time. It's like the closest thing on this earth that I can relate to help me calm my mind. I love when people say, "Oh, just do this, just breathe, just that." How about if you were locked in a cage? Would you be able to just like breathe? Yeah. I learned a lot locked in a cage, but I was also like a rabid animal. I was fighting my way out. So the cage at the ashram I'm locked in right now is not having any lane, not having any box to fit into, not having anybody to relate to. Like, even my twin flame only goes so far. And I wouldn't expect anybody to understand my journey or anything, because it's not theirs, it's mine. And before I argue with someone, I think to myself, have they even studied this topic? Have they queried the mind? Can they meet me as deeply as I've met myself? Can they understand at least the information I'm bringing? Do they have cognitive dissonance? You want to go through that every time you talk to somebody? And then how do you have a girlfriend or like a friend group permanently that can relate to this? And who wants to talk about? That's why there's no like and I haven't looked, so I can't say that there isn't, but I would never join one. I want to get out of that feeling as soon as I leave the room. I get myself up and get going. Now, if I can do this shit, and they can't kill us right now, Chosen. I know you had a rough life, Blu-rays. I know it. And the sad thing is with human trafficking, fuck this slavery word. Human trafficking, stealing people, even when they put you in jail, that's human trafficking. They're stealing you. I can tell you guys many stories. The most recent one, the past 7 years, I was given vitamins, because remember, they know who you are. And then I got woozy, and I slept for 2 weeks. And they abused me throughout the time. They did what they needed to do. They got a kick out of it, because remember, I tried to close one of their hangouts down and expose them. Yeah. Very traumatic when you remember those things. Now, imagine the people that didn't. At that time, I had my twin flame's mother and my mother, who was like, she was still a fighter. She just didn't know when to stop because she was so fragmented. She was like, I don't know who that is, but that's not my daughter. And then it took me 3 days to come out of it. How it was set up was perfect. And now I tell a story like that to just like somebody who hasn't gone through it. And they say, well, why would they do that to you? Well, why? Okay. That's a loaded question. There's a reason why they do it you could be a chosen. They could know who you are. You could have been a fighter like me. There could be many facets. They're all the same anyway. It's all synchronicity. And you could be low level. They could think you're disabled, a low life, a mental health patient, poor, blah, 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 like whatever they call you. By a race, what they think is a race. One human, it's like the human race at this point. Like, I don't know what else it's turning into or what else but like at this point, that's what it is. They've done it in so many like different like facets, like, you know. But listen, so they so I can't see how I get caught up in those feelings, man. So the and I'm free flowing. If you guys haven't noticed, I have no paper today, so I'm like free flowing, and I think I'm staying on track. Let me know how I'm doing in the comments. So basically, the reason why I think and why they do it are two different reasons. Now, don't you think they're going to experiment on those people that they view beneath them? And we know this by the government telling us they experimented on us. I mean, they put shows like Stranger Things in our face, like to trigger us and help us remember at the same time. Like if you're a chosen, you see the truth in it. And especially if you're an MK victim, you see what they did. You see who the handler is, like how they got her going, like her emotions were her key. Like they pushed her through that like Montauk. Like, come on, you guys know. You guys know. You have to know. And regardless if you think it was bullshit or a main stage, then okay, then I'm a walking testimony. I used to watch this guy on YouTube, and it was he's very smart, but he does believe things happen on a lower level. But the bigger upper echelon, like he believes like people are still fighting over Trump and like Biden when there is more than a two-party system, is always has been, and you can create your own. People just aren't educated because of the Rockefeller textbook system, you know, all the bullshit, the lies, what they told you, you know. So you know, we could do that, and I've tried that myself, but they sent an agent, there wasn't enough people. People weren't as, I wouldn't even say educated, weren't as knowing. Like I said, if you don't go through it, you don't know. Like even the lower level M's and the Knights of Columbus. And I got to do a video. Remember I showed you guys the picture about the one that came to me. Lilydale is a place. The agent they sent to me, the one that thought he was an alchemizing. Yeah, spell me. Yeah, okay. So a Lilydale is a place where they program. It's a covenant of priestesses. And when I had him under hypnosis, he told me that he was called there, and he's called there when the women break out. Like this one particular woman he told me about was from California. She was an intuitive. They were trying to get her in their club. Her handler was her husband. She just wanted to make her son happy, but yet they kept like trying to get him to sleep in his bed. And I got so much stuff, and it was just like, yeah. He's been part of so many rituals, and I had to like eventually talk to him. So I'll do a whole video on that. But Lilydale basically is a place where the women think they're running as intuitives and they can make some money for themselves. It's in New York. It's very sinister, and they end up falling into the hands of other ones. Like he put a glue gun in her stove and made her think she was crazy, a few other things. And then he told me this under theta beta, and then he tried to spell me the next day with the tape and the vodka. So yeah, whatever. So so that's what I've been up to. I have no like powerful message besides you are powerful beyond your belief. Like belief. Like there is no limit. There is no box. We are out of the mind, dude. And like that knowing, like that keeps me going on my hard days. You know, it's hard. Like I was trying to explain it to my twin flame. I said, imagine you just got here, but you're so different from everybody here. Imagine, like I don't have any, it's not, he says it because you don't want, it's both. Listen, I get 2 sentences in with people, and I lose them. Sometimes it can happen with him. Okay, I gotta go slow. All right, but it gets lonely when you gotta talk. That's why I'm grateful for YouTube and Facebook and things like that. Okay, I would love to gather with other chosen because there are some things we have to do. We have to start doing together. I realize the downloads we get from each other are incredible. Yeah. Remember we got caught in that fake spiritual community chosen and we forgot or we thought we were like what the fuck is going on? We were just there to observe it and learn what not to do. Like weird as shit. I was on Bigo for a long time. Everybody was so obsessed with what and who they were. Like their ancestry only. It was like, Ram Dass talks about it, and I don't know if he's an agent or not, but like he has a good point. Like every time you switch the dial, you're like a frequency, you're like a channel, like a radio. This channel, you're a boy. This channel, you're a girl. This channel, you're this. This channel, you're a Sagittarius. This channel, you're nobody. This channel, you're infinite consciousness. Like it just depends on what notch where you want to go. There is no ceiling. You have a mammalian brain, but you also have a God brain and a reptile brain, okay? So the 3 brain being, the human being needs to become the God being, the one brain. You can't fully get rid of it. That's bullshit and woo-woo. Like you have to learn how to harness. That ego, that mind, those minds are not in charge. You are in charge, chosen. Okay? But let's be real. You got to cope. I know you have to. Sometimes it gets way too hard. That once a month I lose my shit. Usually like my kids come around because they help me dissolve. And like, let me tell you, on those days, I think that's why in Stranger Things, that girl Jane had such an issue controlling her emotions, and that was her key to her power. How do you control your emotions when you're balancing all these behaviors they call personalities? I mean, that puppet Terrence Howard talked about it. He said, you're an emotional prostitute. And then the next week in welding school, this kid tells me about he was in a fraternity, the mirror method they use. Yeah, they're trying to like program you with another personality. And usually what you see in their MK Ultra slaves, the ones that are celebrities on a higher level, I'm 40, the same thing happens. Your programming starts to break down at it's between your 30s and 40s. They only get it like 20 good years, maybe. So it's like, you know, like Britney Spears is a perfect example of one. Like Aaliyah was an example of one, but although she could be, I don't know. The one I do believe though, Britney Spears, I think some of these children are, and I don't think I know because I know that they're born into this and they want the ones that disassociate and don't, because some of them will just die. Some are so strong that they disassociate and they can only hold that personality for so long. It's like being fake, that fake smile, being around people that aren't on your wave. Like you can only do it for so long, you know. It's just what it is. So their programs are breaking down. People are realizing that they're more common than like I said, they make shows, So, chosen, let me know what you guys are going through. What kind of karma is being brought up in your life so you can dissolve or integrate. I won't even say dissolve because I've had to come to the realization that some people may not be human anymore. Like we need to explore that and observe that. I have a fragmented mind and naturally it wants to be put back together. I'm going to have bad times. It's just what the healing process is about. I mean, it's just some of us have it a little bit harder of it, like it's like a little bit harder of a task than others. You know, bless you if you were only indoctrinated by an institution and not in your in any type of sexual way. And may I pray that your emotional trauma was not that deep. If you were one of the children that did survive that, I've never met any, like I've watched women. I don't know what, you don't know what is true or false reality anymore out there. Like the one that felt the realest to me was there's this one blonde woman. Even Max Spears, his story is very suspect. But he does match what it would look like if I were to go out and I would not make very many appearances. We have no trust in anybody. We don't have very many friends like that because it's not that we aren't understanding. It's like when we have a fucking like trigger, and that could be anything, okay? It could be a hand gesture, a word. It could be a lot of different things. How does he know that there's not an agent there that's, you know, and then people think we're paranoid. And so he exhibited those things, and he exhibited the drug use aspect as well because, oh my God, like the mind is powerful. And when they split you, ooh. So for me, Blu-rays and Chosen, I have been going through bringing my mind back together. Like, it's my shit. And I'm remaining kind in between. So I'm doing it the correct way. And I'm being honest with my children, my twin flame, with you guys. It just, you know, we're out here, but we're diamonds in the rough. We don't have our own community. I believe that we should gather somehow if we are true chosen. Now, that is also something that's being thrown around that's bullshit. So you guys know that. Like, so I'm asking you guys, what are we doing? What do you guys got going on? I'm going to put Love, this is already going in 37 minutes. I'm going to put Love Naya, one of her videos down in here. And, True Chosen know that we're not being arrogant, that we just know, like we learn, teach. So, I mean, we've been through it. We don't talk out of our ass. So I'll put her down here. You guys stay peace, stay love, and stay light.